It's time I got back, and I don't even know how I got the track. I wanna go back, yeah! Wow, 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 wow. Oh, that's it, that's it. So I got my driver's license last week. Just like we always talked about. Pretty late, all things considered. I could have gone as far back as 2024, but I guess I was just busy at the time, you know, playing TF2. But I've graduated now, and as goalless as I am, I want to feel like I at least partially had my shit together. So I started taking driving lessons. Thing is, I don't particularly like driving. Like, it's fine, it gets me places. And that's really the only reason people get their license, right? It seemed to me, at least before I got my license, that the ability to exist as someone independent and grown up was being kept behind the ability to operate a vehicle. I also live in one of the worst areas for public transport in Brisbane, so that doesn't really help anything. But yeah, the main reason I got my license was it being the means to all the ends. In my mind, everything was locked behind that little plastic rectangle. I'd start vocal lessons when I got my license. I'd see my friends more. I'd go out to see the city and nature and all the things I didn't have time or the ability to do because I didn't want to be a burden. I don't know, I'd see a therapist or a tattoo artist. It's the same thing. The few months I locked in on driving were actually pretty good. One thing I've come to realize about myself is that my body kind of yearns for activity. Like, a day spent lazy in the shade doesn't feel good to me. I just feel cold and chud-like. So, a goal, a tangible goal to work towards, keeping my mind and body active, it felt good. One of the things I think I'll miss the most about having driving lessons is actually my driving instructor. He was a Canadian philosopher king in the vein of Northern Lion. And he once said to me, eloquently, as I was failing a basic park for the third time, "Everyone fucking knows shit, man. That's the problem. Yeah, with the kids these days, my son especially, you know, he knows all this shit from the internet, and so expects to be good, and when he isn't, he just gives up." It was a bit weird to get revelation from a guy who said the best part about Comic-Con was looking at people's tits, but it was and is a truth nuke. Not the tits part, the other thing. Like, as a child of what's affectionately known as the information age, I certainly do know a lot of shit and don't have a lot of experience. But, I don't know, it was just a good reminder, another thing to keep me grounded. Because in an age where the economy is attention, it's pretty easy to forget that there's no substitute for experience. Words are such feeble tools in the face of being, after all. Another thing I'll miss about working towards this goal is the notion that it would make me feel more complete, you know, more like an adult. I guess it was a kind of childish notion, but, you know, it's what my friends told me. It's just a feeling of arrested development has haunted me ever since I graduated. Just a generalized, ephemeral lack. In my bones, I felt this lack, and it just seemed destiny that the elusive security, purpose, and maturity would be found freely if only I touched a stick correctly while a middle-aged man watched intently. But no, the only thing this fucking thing gave me was the ability to do things. Certainly didn't make me feel like an adult. On the subject of adulthood though, my cat died recently. That's been really fun to deal with. Around that time, I saw a clip of Jomo talking about his late dog Otto. It was beautiful and touching. And although he wasn't crying, the hurt in his voice, it comforted me in knowing that this scary and unknowable thing, it could be joked about. That on the other side, it might still be love persisting. But in that love, there was discussion of something else. He also talked about how the death of his dog represented the start of a new act in his life. Listen, I'm fucking young, alright? At the time of recording, still 18. And things have changed in my life, of course, but I've never had to move house. I've never had any friendship-ending fights, and not to brag, but my parents are still together. So take that, Reeve, you soggy bitch. I have experienced change, of course, but it's never been anything radical. I've always been in the driver's seat. I've always had control of my life. And when I held the pen, it was shy and conservative and a little chicken scratch, but it was still mine. In short, before that point, I'd never experienced a trauma. It was the first time my stream of consciousness was interrupted, usurped by the confrontation, the being of death. Not just the words said about it. And without my feeble tools, I found myself stark, awake, and more present than I ever had been. In the living room at 4 p.m, with the light streaming through a door slightly ajar, I held a warm body soon to be cold. The weather was kind to me that day. I think I get what Joma means about life having acts now. Because on that day, it wasn't just me losing a beloved pet, it was me losing a part of myself. You know, in that little shit, there was something only he could fully bring out. And now that part of me is gone. He is gone, and only my love is left. But now, I have to find what I am without him. Now, as I outlive the rest of my childhood, I have to choose what I'll become instead. One of the hardest things to come to terms with has actually been my freedom. Ever since graduating, I've had no expectations or responsibilities beyond the occasional shift and my own survival. And I guess because of that, I've just become so irritable and impatient and reckless, uncaring to what I usually love, and all things not diligent, and taking the easy path, and suddenly it's impossible for me to sit alone with myself. How did that even happen? These are all things I've prided myself on in the past, and I'm constantly chasing, constantly convincing myself that, oh, this is just a little project to get me back in the swing of things before I start on the real thing I'm excited about. I'm just utterly baffled that I've become like this. I've only been graduated for 6 months, and under the sobering lights of so many 2 a.m.s, I realize I am so capable of choosing wrong. And under the judgmental lights of liberty, knowingly choosing wrong feels so much worse than having no choice at all. In other news, I'm probably trans. That's been fucking fun to contend with. Listen, I've known I'm bisexual before I'd even nut, alright? I got that shit locked down, no qualms. But being able to convince myself of something that seems very fucking blatantly obvious has been a Herculean effort over the past few months. Death came to me in the form of myself in the mirror, and for years I laughed it off as merely a trick of the light. I don't know what happened between now and all those years ago when I realized what I was on a cold winter's day like this, but fuck me. Whether I buried it, or I forgot about it, or I simply liked the way the suit fit on me because the world rewarded me for fitting into my mold, I'm here now, losing the tethers that could possibly tie me down to my old identity, and standing at this crossroads, knowing that I can simply make that choice. If I make that choice, it's the most horrible feeling in the world. I can go anywhere I want to. I could go to the GP tomorrow and pick up a prescription because I'm not a minor and the LMP dickheads can't stop me, and just be on my merry fucking way. But making that choice is so much different than accepting within myself that I like both dick and pussy. It would mean having to impose myself onto others, to become more visible, to lose the shield of being straight passing even though I'm only 5 foot. It would mean change, relinquishing the control I've built up, becoming something strange and foreign. It would mean, as I've been so averse to doing, becoming a human. This is what it would mean, and this is why I'm so scared. This, right now, as I get a peek behind the curtain of the fire dancing from the bridges burned, of all the love gained and lost, of all the things that I could be, I am one thing alone, that is terrified. But, god damn it. The curtain's falling in a flash of red velvet, and in the air it's lithe and it's beautiful. The next act is starting, whether I want it to or not. And if I don't give myself at least the chance to try, I think I'll go to my grave fucking mad. So here's to myself. You got your peas? Why don't you try living for once, bitch? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we sing it spring again. Sun showers, the streets dead ended. I'm horny and I'm scared. Raindrops mingle with my body heartily. Thoughts pass from me. This what I was like. I was 13. Mood swings when I'm passing by. The blue sky covered by your rag. Thankful for all you ever had. Look out, it'll never stop. When I take those magic pills, I'll be no haggard daffodil. I'll grow up